What is going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about the strongest class in the game right now. This is some of the highest damage I've ever seen, and I tore through this Apocalypse adventure. Now there's two builds that are competing for the top spot right now, and rather than make two videos on this, I'm going to combine them into one. And the reason I'm doing this is that in these builds are just two items off of each other. That's right, same class, almost the same jewelry. The main difference is the weapon. And that, of course, is the Deceit sniper rifle versus the Crescent moon bow. Now, both options are insanely strong. Deceit's weapon mod means that no matter where you hit an enemy, it's a guaranteed weak point hit. And the Crescent moon's mod fires 2 arrows at once and heals you, which is invaluable in this difficulty. Now, if you've been around the channel for a bit, you know that I prefer Nightmare difficulty, but this build can tear through Apocalypse like it's nothing. Now, let's take a look at this build. For the classes, we've got everyone's favorite Hunter Gunslinger. Now I'm using the Hunter's Mark and Bulletstorm, which helps with both of our slow-firing weapons. Now normally I choose an armor combination, this keeps me at a medium roll. But this particular set is just at the max for a heavy roll to give us extra protection in this unforgiving difficulty. I've got a combo of the face set, Little Mark II, and the Labyrinth gloves. And I think this look kind of looks like Inaris from Diablo. What do you think? For the relic, I'm using the enlarged heart for an instant heal, along with the crit fragments and weak spot damage. Now for the primary weapon, remember we've got two choices. This is going to come down to preference. Deceit is a charged sniper rifle, and the Crescent moon bow is going to require you to hit power shots. So there's a little more skill involved with the bow. Try them both out and see which one you prefer. No matter which one you pick up, you're going to pair it with the supercharger mutator, as it works well with both weapons, reducing our charge time and giving some extra crit chance. For the melee weapon, I'm using Thor's hammer, by which I mean the Krell axe. Something about the spectral blade was causing me to double attack sometimes when I was trying to use Deceit's weapon mod, so I swapped this over, but you can honestly use whichever melee weapon floats your boat. For the secondary, I like to pair the single fire weapons with something fully auto. I recommend the MP60 SMG or the Enigma. For the amulet, I'm using the Full Moon Circlet. At full health, we get an extra 20% damage boost, and if we're hurting, we get a nice little 3% lifesteal, so we don't have to use a relic right away. If you don't have this particular amulet, you can always swap to the Ankh of Power, which is a fine second choice. Now, there are 3 rings that are the same for both builds, and honestly, they're kind of mandatory. This is where you're going to want to get your insane damage from. So the first one we have is the Archer's Crest. This is going to increase our projectile speed, but more importantly, reduce our weapon charge time. This build is so much worse without this ring. If you're missing it, I suggest farming it before you even try this build out. Now on to ring number 2, we've got my favorite, the Probability Cord. This ring goes in almost all my builds, and well, because it's one of the best in the game. Crit damage is so much more meaningful than regular base damage. Ring number 3 is the Ring of Flawed Beauty. All range weak spot damage is increased by 25%, but if you miss, you're going to deal 15% less damage overall. It's a bit of a gamble using this ring, but remember, Deceit's weapon mod means you're always hitting weak points. And since we don't have an insane fire rate with the bow, you're gonna have to make your shots count anyways. Lastly, we have the Akari Warband for the bow only. Now every time you dodge an enemy's attack, which in a boss fight is all the time, you get an insane crit boost. 15% chance, 15% damage for 15 seconds. This is a huge spike in damage that is absolutely insane for the bow. This ring is honestly what puts this bow into S tier meta. For the sniper, however, you want to use Fair Sigil, as this is going to help keep our mod readily available, which is our main source of damage. And before you say, hey, could we use Fair Sigil with the bow? My answer is, no, it's not worth it. I tried out the bow with all the mod power rings, and it only really reduced the mod cost by like 1 arrow. Now, I don't think an entire ring slot is worth just 1 arrow, so just stick to the Akari Warband. For our traits, we've got Long Shot and Ammo Reserves by default from our classes. After that, I slotted points into Regrowth to get some healing over time. Vigor and Endurance for more health and stamina. Spirit and Expertise for more mod power and skill power. Footwork so we can sidestep incoming projectiles. And this last perk slot's up to you. I like Glutton for insanely fast relic uses, but you could also slot into Fortify or Barksman for survivability. So there you have it, the strongest build in the game. Well, builds. I'm going to leave you on this boss fight so you can see it in action for yourself. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing, as I've got plenty more Remnant 2 builds on the way. And hey, let me know down in the comments below, are you Team Deceit or Team Crescent Moonbow? Thanks for watching and have a great day.
Okay.
For now.